If this seems familiar to you, then don't worry, it's not the Mandela effect. I made a similar video to this on my other YouTube channel once upon a time. But on that video, many of you brought up other quests that are often overlooked or hidden. Most of them being miscellaneous quests that are marked on the Pip-Boy, but often never discovered by your average players. So that's what I want to look at today, going over all the unmarked quests that aren't marked in your Pip-Boy, and also looking into the more overlooked miscellaneous quests that you might have never run into. If you like Fallout, then consider subbing because we have a lot more on the channel and a lot more to come.
We're going to take a closer look at one of the most peculiar groups you'll encounter in the Commonwealth, the so-called Pillars of the Community. Who are they? What do they want? And more importantly, is their charismatic leader really trying to help, or is he running a dangerous con? During your travels, you may stumble across a man who calls himself Brother Andrew, Brother Simon, Brother James, or Brother Matthew. His name can vary, but his pitch is always the same. He'll promise you a better life if you join his collective. At first, it might sound like a dream, a place where everyone supports each other in this barren hellscape. But if something feels off, you're not alone. Once Brother whatever he goes by has you on the hook, he'll take you aside for a private induction.
Step right this way and I'll be happy to tell you all about our movement and how you can be a part of it.
This is where the real test begins. He'll sweet talk you about your new life with the Pillars of the Community, then drop the bombshell that you have to surrender all your worldly possessions. Basically, he wants your caps, your weapons, even the shirt off your back.
You must think I'm an idiot.
Well, you came in here, didn't you?
If you choose to call him out on it, his friendly demeanor vanishes. He'll reveal that he's not just a cult leader. He's a con artist who's happy to rid you of your valuables by any means necessary. You have a couple of classic Bethesda options here. You can talk your way out of it. There's a handy speech check. If you're silver-tongued enough, you can convince him to let you walk away with your gear, no bloodshed required. You can also refuse and fight. If you push back too hard, you'll end up with a bunch of angry pillars on your tail. It's a more direct solution. Just be prepared to fight. Or should you just hand over all your shit? If you do end up fighting and killing the cult leader, don't celebrate too soon. He can come back under the name Brother Thomas during another quest called Imogene Takes a Lover. It's the same racket, different alias. Here you'll have another opportunity to confront him, and if you've already battled the pillars before, you can even intimidate him by referencing your previous encounter. The quest order does matter. If you do the Imogene Takes a Lover quest first and haven't visited the pillars, you might miss out on this initial storyline. The cult leader simply won't engage with you like before. There is a clever workaround, however. If you sneak through Imogene Takes a Lover and free Imogene without anyone spotting you, the pillars quest can still be triggered. This keeps your options open if you want to handle the cult in a more methodical way. Of course, Fallout 4 loves rewarding charismatic players. Remember to invest in your charisma and speech perks if you want to avoid messy gunfights. So is it worth joining the pillars? Well, they're not exactly a benevolent group, and you might end up losing everything if you fall for their scam. But if you're in the mood for a fight, or want to exercise those sweet persuasion skills, it's a fun side story in the Commonwealth.
When you first arrive in Goodneighbor, you can have a chat with the ghoul merchant Daisy. If you dig a little deeper into her story, she'll casually mention that she's been around since before the bombs fell. But the conversation doesn't stop there. She'll also point you toward another pre-war ghoul rumored to be staying at the Hotel Rexford. Intrigued? You should be. Head on over to the Hotel Rexford and make your way upstairs. There, you'll come face to face with the Vault Tech rep. Yes, that cheerful salesman who once knocked on your door offering you a spot in the vault. But this time, he's a ghoul, which makes sense considering he was turned down entry into Vault 111 at the beginning of the game. When the bombs dropped, he couldn't get into Vault 111 because his own name wasn't on the list. He was then left to endure the radioactive fallout, and he ended up joining the ranks of the ghoulified. Strike up a conversation with the Vault Tech rep and you'll see he still has that chipper sales pitch, despite looking a bit worse for wear. He'll recognize you right away even though centuries have passed, and he still clings to the hope of friendship. If you keep talking to him, he'll open up about his loneliness and how he longs for a friend in this harsh new world. At this point, you get a heartwarming option. Invite him to Sanctuary Hills. He'll jump at the chance on one condition. He wants you to promise you'll actually visit him there. If you answer with a yes, off he goes. Once you wrap things up in Goodneighbor, fast travel or trek over to Sanctuary Hills and look for your old Vault Tech pal. When you speak to him, he'll be overjoyed that you kept your promise. His gratitude is genuine. For a moment, you can forget the irradiated wasteland you're both living in. From that moment on, he's just like any other settler. You can assign him to work in your settlement, and if you have a level 4 trading emporium built, you can even place him behind the counter and he'll become a special vendor. Who knew a simple conversation in Goodneighbor could lead you to reunite with a phase from your very first days in the Commonwealth, back when the world was still intact.
Have you ever ventured into Vault 81 to meet the one and only Dr. Pensky, the brilliant botanist who's determined to grow fresh produce underground? In this often overlooked side quest, she's got a unique proposition for you. Trade your fertilizer for cold hard caps. But as with all things Fallout, there are a few quirks and bugs to watch out for. As you explore Vault 81, you'll stumble upon the Vault's resident horticulture expert, Dr. Pensky. She's been working tirelessly to grow healthy crops in the confines of the Vault. During your chat, she'll hand you a freshly grown mut fruit to sample. Think of it as her personal experiment in sustainable farming. Once you finish munching on that mut fruit and speak with her again, she'll make you an enticing offer.
If you could keep an eye out for fertilizer while you're out in the Commonwealth, I'll be more than happy to compensate you for your efforts.
She wants to buy fertilizer from you for 25 caps per bag. Easy money for a little extra manure, right? Before you start raking in the caps, note that this arrangement doesn't last forever. There are a few important steps and potential pitfalls to keep in mind. Once you complete the Vault's main quest, Hole in the Wall, Dr. Pensky won't be in the market for fertilizer anymore, so make those trades while you still can. Fallout 4 wouldn't be Fallout 4 without the occasional glitch. Here are the big ones to look out for and how to fix them. Occasionally, Dr. Pensky might slip into generic dialogue instead of offering to buy your fertilizer. The fix? Reverse pickpocket a bag of fertilizer onto her. The quest code checks her inventory for fertilizer instead of yours. A simple but lucrative opportunity, turning your extra fertilizer into caps. All thanks to the ever-dedicated Dr. Pensky. Just remember to handle your business before you finish Vault 81's main quest, or you'll lose that sweet sales option forever.
Have you ever met Calvin Whitaker, the Vault 81's resident handyman? He's on the lookout for some specific tools and is more than happy to pay caps for them. When you first enter Vault 81, keep an eye out for Calvin Whitaker. He might be chatting with Overseer McNamara or roaming the halls. Get him alone for a quick conversation, and he'll mention that he's always in need of certain tools to keep the vault in tip-top shape. Turns out, he'll even buy these items from you at 15 caps each. But you should know that there's a couple bugs with Calvin. He does have a tendency to disappear as part of a scripted sequence. This can happen after his conversation with the Overseer or when he heads off to the bathroom around midnight. So if you've got a stash of tools ready to sell, make sure you catch him before he slips away. So what exactly does Calvin want? Well, he wants adjustable wrenches, ball-peen hammers, combination wrenches, hammers, screwdrivers, and just wrenches. Despite all the other random tools you might find in the wasteland, Calvin will only pay for these 6 items. Don't even bother lugging around gardening tools or weird off-brand hammers. He won't give you a single cap for those. Or for any other item aside from the 6 mentioned, even if it seems handyman-esque. If you're looking for a quick way to earn some caps, Calvin Whitaker might just become your new best friend. Like I said, just remember to catch him before the Overseer chat or bedtime routine. Once he's gone, that easy 15 caps per tool deal goes with him.
To start this particular quest, head to the General Atomics factory and locate the Quality Assurance Department in the southeast corner of the facility on the ground floor. Look for a red rectangle with the yellow border on the floor labeled Test Area. Inside, you'll find 3 testing rooms, each simulating a different scenario. Completing all 3 will unlock a safe containing fusion cores and other random loot. The first room is a child discipline test. To complete it, simply turn off the radio playing inside the room. Once done, the next room unlocks. The second test involves stopping a baby from crying. To do this, you'll need to find the large baby bottle and place it into the crib or transfer it into the teddy bear's inventory. Annoyingly, the bottle might have been flung somewhere thanks to the explosions, so you might have to look for it. The third and final test requires removing dangerous objects from a child's reach. You'll need to collect the following items: a machete from the fridge. Who doesn't keep their machete in the fridge? A Braxo cleaner from under the nightstand, an adjustable wrench from the footstool. Alternatively, you can complete the test by placing the machete and a silver fork into the trash can or on the countertop. Once all 3 rooms are complete, the safe at the end of the corridor unlocks, rewarding you with 3 fusion cores and additional loot inside.
Everyone loves a good love story, so that's what we're gonna do. Head to the school found in Diamond City. I understand that seems like a worrying statement when first heard, but stick with me. First, you need to convince Miss Edna, the Mr. Handy teacher, that love is worth the risk and that she can express her feelings. If you've done this, she will confess her love for Mr. Zwicky, a local resident of Diamond City, and a human. Next, make sure that you've progressed the Jewel in the Commonwealth quest far enough to have discovered Nick Valentine. Otherwise, the wedding won't happen. If all the conditions are met, a few days later, Pastor Clements will officiate the wedding of Miss Edna and Mr. Zwicky in front of the All Faiths Chapel in Diamond City. The ceremony is brief, and if you arrive late, you might miss most of it. There's also no crowd, which makes it feel like just background chatter rather than a major event. But if you do stick around, you'll hear Pastor Clements later reflect on the marriage, stating that while a union between a man and a robot is unusual, he doesn't believe God would mind. It kind of feels like we're heading into this scenario in real life real fast.
These guys remind me of the Commonwealth tunnel snakes, just not as cool in my opinion. First thing you need to do is head to the Atom Cat's garage, which is right here. When you arrive at the garage, head to the barn at the rear of the site. Inside you'll find Zeke, the leader of the Atom Cats, sitting at the bar. Speaking with him initiates the quest, and he directs you to Rowdy, one of the garage's key members, for further instructions.
Yeah, now we're cooking!
Rowdy explains that the Atom Cats have a good relationship with Warwick Homestead, a nearby settlement, and they assist each other when needed. Currently, Warwick Homestead has a broken pump and you're tasked with repairing it. Zeke provides a pump part, which you'll need to complete the task. Warwick Homestead is located just across the water behind the Atom Cat's garage. You can either swim directly across or take a longer route around the water. Once you arrive, locate the broken pump and interact with it to install the replacement part. After repairing the pump, speak with June Warwick.
I saw you working in the pump shed over there. Are you with the Atom Cats?
Meow.
Oh, I'll take that as a yes.
She will thank you for your help and reward you with 5 Mirelurk cakes. With this step complete, return to Rowdy at the Atom Cat's garage. As you report back to Rowdy, a gunner attack interrupts the conversation. The gunners will approach from the front of the garage and you'll need to help the Atom Cats defend their territory. You'll have to help the cats fight back before the rest of the quest can be continued. Once the area is secure, locate Zeke again to complete the quest. As a reward, he gives you Zeke's jacket and jeans, an outfit that provides a charisma boost. And you're officially made an honorary member of the Atom Cats. Fun facts before we move on: in the game files, you can find an unused asset for a drag race between yourself and the Atom Cats, so actual working cars in a Bethesda Fallout game. It would have been a sight to see. Unfortunately, we didn't get that.
This one or series of things I don't think I ever ran into in my thousands of hours in Fallout 4. Did you know you can find bottled messages all across the Commonwealth? You might have. You might have found a few even. But there are literally 6 to find, and they all have unique messages and they all lead you to some loot objective. I'll run through them real quick. Found behind Crater House, slightly east-northeast on the shore, look for barrels leading towards Salem. The bottle is between a log and some barrels on the beach. Picking it up marks a location past a white and red boat and a wrecked plane. Dive down to find a large sewer pipe and a flipped boat. Loot the steamer trunk inside to complete the objective. Located behind the castle near the southernmost star point, the bottle is barely visible near a large round boulder at the water's edge. The quest marker appears northwest of Spectacle Island, near a sunken boat with visible antenna. Dive down, loot the steamer trunk inside the boat, and the objective is complete. Found south of the wreck of the FMS Northern Star, near a lighthouse, look for it on a sandbar with a red buoy directly west of the lighthouse. This quest marker leads east-southeast into the water, where you'll find a waste pipe hatch that contains a steamer trunk and a first aid kit. Looting the trunk will end the quest. Located southeast of Boston Airport, across from Fort Strong, this bottle is between a large piece of driftwood and some wooden pallets, about 40 yards from a vertibird. The quest marker then appears southeast in the water. You'll have to dive down to find Horizon Airlines wreck. The steamer trunk is in the plane's cockpit alongside a first aid box. You'll find this one behind Makra Fish Packing, near the northeast corner across from a rowboat with a plastic pumpkin. Picking this one up marks a location east of the plant near a buoy. Below you'll find a sunken bathtub that holds a skeleton with a teddy bear and various loot. The steamer trunk next to the tub contains additional items, and then looting it also completes the quest. Located near the Nahant Oceanological Society on a small sand island with picket fencing, you'll find the last bottle. The marker for it is far out in the ocean, roughly south of Croup Manor and east of Nordhagen Beach. The dive is super deep, so you'll need water breathing gear or perks for that. Then you'll find the submerged boat and the loot to the steamer trunk to finish the objective. By the way, none of the note messages are connected or lead to some greater thing, but the 5th bottle message is an Easter egg. It's a line from Die Hard, so that's pretty cool. find this one to be extremely overlooked by people. If you go to Diamond City and you head towards Swatters or even just inside the Dugout Inn, there is literally a wanted poster that holds bounties and gives you a little quest to hunt down these wanted men. They're just repeatable quests that have you clear out locations, but if you're going to clear them out anyways, then you might as well get paid for it, and then you can roleplay a badass bounty hunter. Win-win.
This quest is given by Joe Savoldi, owner of the bar in Bunker Hill, usually found on the west side of the settlement. If you've never spoken to him before, he'll start a conversation about trying to talk his son out of joining the railroad.
Hey, you. Talk some sense into my numbskull son.
After that, you can interact with him as a vendor and ask about work, which triggers the quest. Joe wants you to track down any trace of his grandfather Brent, a former Minuteman who mysteriously disappeared. He offers 150 caps, but if you have high charisma, you can pass up to 3 speech checks to negotiate a better payout. Regardless of your decision, the quest is added to your journal. Your objective is at the Old Gullet Sinkhole, located in the Malden region north of Bunker Hill. The cliffs surrounding the sinkhole can be tricky to navigate, but the easiest way down is from the northern side. This also puts you in a better position to handle the Deathclaw lurking at the bottom. Now, you can either fight the Deathclaw directly or avoid it by jumping into the water, which will carry you into an underground cave system. Once inside, you'll land in a small pool where you'll encounter 1 glowing and 1 normal radroach. Brent's remains are nearby along with his Minuteman hat. Be sure to also pick up the Wasteland Survival Guide on the cooking equipment. Next, head through the tunnel where you'll encounter feral ghouls and a glowing one. After clearing them out, follow the stairs upward to exit into a ruined house just west of the sinkhole. But be careful, outside this house is a random enemy spawn point. You may encounter another Deathclaw, sometimes fighting Brotherhood of Steel Soldiers or whatever. It's a toss-up. With Brent's hat in hand, return to Joe Savoldi at Bunker Hill.
I found your grandpa. Not much left except his hat.
Handing over the hat earns you your caps, completing the quest. However, if you join the Minutemen, Joe lets you keep the hat as a sign of respect. People probably miss this one because the bar is kind of located in the back corner of Bunker Hill.
Wish more people looked at it that way.
Have you ever been in the Science Center in Diamond City? It appears a lot of people miss this place because it doesn't really have any noticeable features. It just kind of looks like another random house. But if you go inside, you'll meet Dr. Duff.
X-rays, beta rays, gamma rays. But which one are we most worried about? The one most associated with the big old bombs 200 years ago.
Who gives a crap, Race?
No, not quite what we're looking for.
She'll give you a little biology lesson and will ask you to hunt down some bloatflies to get your hands on a bloatfly gland. You can of course negotiate the price like usual, and then all you have to do is bring her a bloatfly gland. Honestly, I was more surprised about the location than the quest. It's easy to forget these little places.
Get the bloatfly gland. Got it.
This one is found in Salem, and I think it's mainly overlooked because most people come here and deal with the church and the Deathclaw, and then they take a look around and then they just move on. But it is a pretty cool quest. As you approach the Rook family house, you'll see Barney Rook standing on the roof, surrounded by Mirelurks. At first, these Mirelurks won't attack, but as you get closer to the house, they'll turn hostile, which then officially starts the quest. Take out the Mirelurks and then approach Barney. He'll speak to you and invite you into the bunker in the basement of his home. Once inside, Barney explains the situation. He's the self-proclaimed Salem militia, consisting of just him and his rifle Reba. But the town's turret defenses are down and he needs your help to reactivate them. To do this, you have to enter Barney's password into several terminals scattered around Salem. As you activate each terminal, be prepared to fight off the Mirelurks in the area. Once all 5 are online, watch the fireworks and then return to Barney's bunker to complete the quest. As a reward for your help, Barney gives you Barney's key, which unlocks a special weapon, Reba 2. This sniper rifle comes with a plus 50% damage bonus against bugs and Mirelurks, making it extremely useful for future encounters with these creatures.
Sounds good.
Of course it sounds good. I'm a tactical genius. Smartest man in town, as a matter of fact.
This one I think probably most of you have run into, but I couldn't be too sure, so I included it just in case. All you need to do is run around Diamond City until you find the water reservoir located right here. Then you just need to talk to Aang the Last Airbender. Shang here will tell you that the water needs to be clear of debris so that people can keep drinking it, because the debris is irradiated. Swim down and look for the 5 marked junk items. Then just return to Shang and collect your money. Easy as that.
Shang? Why was there a skull in the water?
Yeah, so maybe you weren't the first person I asked. Maybe the last guy found an unstable hand grenade.
Ever notice these random locked warehouses in Goodneighbor? Well, they have a quest connected to them, and I'll show you where to get it. To start the quest, head into the third rail, the underground bar in Goodneighbor. Inside, you'll find Whitechapel Charlie, a Mr. Handy bartender who also happens to deal in information and jobs. While bartering with him, Charlie brings up a job offer. He needs someone to eliminate a group of triggermen holed up in Goodneighbor's warehouses. Accepting the job officially starts the quest. Before heading out, you have the chance to negotiate a better payment. Passing persuasion or intimidation checks can increase the reward from 200 caps up to 400.
Too low. Barely covers the risks.
All right, Gov. 300.
More money, Charlie.
Giving me a right kick in the elbows. We'll make it 400, but that's as high as I'm going.
Your targets are spread across 3 warehouses in Goodneighbor. Each warehouse door is novice locked, but they're easy to pick or unlock with the right skill. Inside, you'll face groups of triggermen, armed and ready for a fight. Make your way through each warehouse, eliminating all hostiles before moving on to the next location. Once all 3 warehouses are cleared, your job is officially done. Head back to Whitechapel Charlie to report in. Charlie rewards you with 200 caps, or like I said, up to 400 if you pass those earlier speech checks. With the job complete, the quest wraps up.
You're becoming quite a regular. Well, the beer still tastes the same. Like shit.
I don't know if I'd really call this a quest. I mean, you might depending on who you are, but maybe it's more like an event. Speaking on the third rail, you'll notice a singer named Magnolia. She is connected to a regular quest, but some people never experience her side quest, event, whatever. If you are extremely good at charisma or are just patient enough to keep reloading your save, you can convince Magnolia to take a tumble with you in the sack.
Oh, really? Go on.
You'll find yourself leaving a room at the Hotel Rexford in a walk of shame or glory, whichever you prefer to call it.
We tried to pick out some of the most hidden quests in Fallout 4 and show you guys, but no doubt we missed some, because wouldn't you know, a lot of these are overlooked, maybe even by us. So make sure you comment some of the quests we might have missed that you think are some of the hardest to find, and maybe we'll do another video. Then make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that in the future. And remember guys, enjoyed time is never wasted time, and we'll see you in the next.